Good morning, Heritage High School. Welcome back for lesson number 4 of our Foundations of Health course. I am Coach Sam. I'm excited to be here and talk to you about the art of fulfillment, because we talked about the science of achievement, our success formula, the simple steps that you can take to break through any goal or something that you want. So the next part is what happens when we obtain that goal. How do we get fulfilled out of that? Is our motivator money, fame, fortune, or is it service? Is it giving to someone? It's all about a perspective and how we look at it. And a lot of those techniques that we've been learning is what's going to help keep you going towards that goal. Now, what we want you to be is when you achieve that goal is to feel fulfilled, to feel joy that you crushed that goal or whatever it might be. But also, it's about finding your purpose. Because a lot of times in lives, we take money as a big motivator on why you should do something. And money does not bring happiness. And it's about the fulfillment. Example, I'm going to give a shout out to the teachers on this one. Their main motivator for becoming a teacher, I'm sure, was not because they thought they'd be driving a Bugatti to school or, have a $5 million house in the Hamptons or something crazy like that. It was the purpose that they wanted to teach. They wanted to educate the next generation of people going into the world. And that's how they're making their impact. Because the thing is, if you want to change the world, you first have to change yourself. If you want to be on that level, you have to be able to handle. You have to be able to take those punches and be able to be on that level of, again, making such a massive impact. So it's about giving yourself the tools, giving yourself the resources to achieve, but also to feel fulfilled within that achievement. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I have a few people that we're going to highlight during our presentation. Breathe better, live better, conscious health for peak performance. We are on lesson number 4, the art of fulfillment. So what I want to know is, what does an extraordinary life look like to you? How does it feel? And what's stopping you from living this extraordinary life and being the greatest version of yourself each and every day? Because what I want you to do is create your vision board. Where do you want to be in 2 years, 4, 5, 10, 20 years? What does that life look like to you and living on your terms? Okay, again, these are the things that you can create. It's a process. And that's why we call it, the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. These are 2 skills that you need to master. Tony Robbins. So the science of achievement, we talked about the success formula. Now, the art of fulfillment, it is different for every person because, again, what it is for me is different than what it might be for you. So that's why you have to clearly define that. What is your life like? What are living on your own terms? What does that even mean? So a little bit about Tony Robbins. Someone I've taken a few of his courses. He went from being homeless right out of high school to owning and operating a multi-billion-dollar empire comprised of many businesses. He's coached people like Conor McGregor, Oprah, Princess Diana, Mother Teresa, a lot of very famous people, because he is one of the best success coaches in the world. And he's worked with over 50 million people in person around the world as well. But what he gets the most out of his life is his contribution to the world. Not only is he coaching the next generation of people and businessmen, athletes, and everybody else in between that, but he's also giving back. He's feeding millions of people every year. They have foundations in India providing water to over 100,000 people a day. And they're doing so many amazing things. And he talks about why this is important to him. And again, what it took for him to get to that level that he can give back to the world that much. And again, it was mastering the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. So I'm going to go ahead and let him take over. This is going to be a little clip from him with Tom Balayu on impact theory.
An extraordinary life is life on your terms, and there's 2 parts. Part 1 to have an extraordinary life is mastering the skill of the science of achievement. How do I take what I envision and make it real? And how do I do that quicker, faster, better, easier? The ability to manifest what you come up with and make it real, like you've done with your company,
Yes.
That's a skill set. I spend an unbelievable amount of time helping people do it faster, quicker, better, showing them the shortcuts, teaching them the strategies, modeling what works so you can save yourself a decade. But I would submit to you that having done this for 38 years with, 50 million people at this stage, I can tell you that the science of achievement, there are a lot of people that are at that, and they still don't have an extraordinary life. They have an extraordinary life. You see it as extraordinary, but I get the phone call from the multi-billionaire who tells me he wants to do this thing on his business, but what he really find out is he's miserable and he's hoping somehow I'm going to rub off on him on that side too. And so I give him what he asked for, the change in his business, but I also give him what he needs, which is the change inside of him. So the second skill is the art of fulfillment. If you want an extraordinary life, you can't just achieve, you got to be fulfilled. As simplistic as that sounds, but it's an art. It's not a science.
Sure.
It's a science to making money, come on. Any age, any color, any background, any gender, if you do these things, you'll have an abundance of money. You do these things, you're gonna have too much month at the end of the money. You're gonna have financial stress, right? Body. Everyone's biochemically different, but you and I both know there's fundamental rules, laws. There's a science to the body. You violate that science, you're gonna have disease, you're gonna have low energy. You align with that, you're gonna have an abundance of energy. It's gonna affect everything in your life. It's a science. Fulfillment's not like that. Fulfillment is as different as our human beings. You wanna know what God or the universe likes? Look at the jungle, look at the forest. It's diverse, right? So most people think, well, I wanna get that, because they've been modeling somebody else, and that might work on how to achieve something. It'll never work for what to fulfill you. How many people you know, like you, got what you thought you wanted and you weren't fulfilled? And that, I always tell people, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, because if you go at something and you fail and you're an achiever, you don't fail, you go, I learned something, I'll just try something else. I'm gonna still get there. But when you succeed and you're not happy, you're technically screwed. It's just like, what are you gonna do? So if I had no other message to offer your viewers, and you let me give it to them right now, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe our lives are controlled by one force, decisions. I certainly believe in force greater than myself, call it God if you will, grace, whatever you want to call it, the universe. But I also believe it gives us choices. And the decisions we make control us much more than the conditions we meet. It's not the conditions, it's your decisions. Decisions of what to believe, decisions of what to do, decisions of what to give. I say to people, think about, look back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, and think of a decision you made that if you would have made a different decision, you'd have a totally different life today. Better or worse, I don't know, but totally different. In your case, if you'd stayed doing what you're doing, you'd have a lot of money and still been miserable, right? And probably your great lady over here would be feeling miserable because she loves you so much and she'd be feeling your misery, wanting to figure out what to do. But you made that decision. The most important decision you can make above any on the face of the earth is deciding that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what happens, you're gonna live in a beautiful state. And the way you suffer is you focus on yourself. Suffering comes when we obsess about ourselves, what we're getting or not getting, what we should have done, what others should have done for us. It's the me game. You, my dear friend, and I say this with no blowing smoke, your primary core is a giver, which is why you're prospering. You're not the me. You're like, how do I give more, do more, share more, create more? How do we do a better job for our clients? How do we do a better job for our internal customers who work with us, our partners? Your entire life is that. That's why you're prospering. And you're not feeling suffering. But when you do suffer, and I promise you do, you correct me if I'm wrong, it'll because you're worrying about something in the future. How's this gonna happen? Will this come together? Suffering can be worry, it can be anger, it can be frustration. It's anything that takes you out of a beautiful state. And here's what people don't get. You can end suffering by stop focusing on yourself and focus on something you wanna serve greater than yourself. Your children, your wife, your mission, your life. You can get out of it in an instant because the nature of the human mind is to constantly compare things. Your mind, your brain is a 2 million year old device, and it is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you survive. And that's why it's always looking for what's wrong. But it used to be what's wrong, a saber-toothed tiger, so I can protect myself. Now people are worried about what people think about them, or do they have enough money? When 2/3 of the planet lives on $2 a day, and you're making $38,000, you're rich. The poorest of the poor in our country are considered rich. I'm not saying they should stay that way. But you can only build on success. And so my view is, if you're watching, if you're listening to this, my goal would have you consider something. Life is short. We don't know how short it's gonna be. But if you only had a week to live, I bet you wouldn't allow yourself to suffer over a little crap that makes you crazy normally. I think you would probably spend time with those you love, you would do what you love, you'd take awe in a sunset, you'd smell the air, you would take in everything in those final moments that you possibly do. So my thing is, why wait?
Art of fulfillment. Now, what is the thing that charges that. It's a decision. It's the power of a decision. What are you deciding to do and who are you deciding to be? It is one of the most personally empowering things that you have right now is the free will that you have to make a decision. Whether you're going to decide to be the best version of yourself, whether you're an athlete and you're going to push yourself to the best of your genetic potential, or again, you play an instrument, or maybe you want to be the best at whatever your passion is. It is a decision that you are going to do that, and you're going to do the necessary steps. And again, enjoy the process and love doing it. Knowing your Bolt score. So this is your tolerance to CO2. This is also our tolerance to stress. Again, we want to know how we can improve our tolerance. And again, this is going to improve your athletic performance. Again, if you play an instrument, but actually, again, your sleep, things like that, but also your ability to handle stress. So we want to improve this Bolt score, and I'm going to explain to you what it is on our next slide. This is also known as an air hunger drill. So what this is going to do is help balance out our brain's oxygen, CO2, but also help our stress response. Because again, the higher your CO2 tolerance, the faster you'll go, the longer you'll go, and also it's going to help a lot with your concentration. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath. I'll give you a countdown. When I say exhale, you're going to exhale it all out. And when I say hold, I'm going to start a timer. And again, if you have to pause the video and have someone else manage the clock so you all can get your Bolt score. But again, you're going to hold as long as you can. So you're going to exhale, hold, and again, and just control. And again, a lot of it is in your mind. You can keep going. And when you feel the need, you have to breathe. Slowly inhale through your nose. Do not, we're not trying to create that type of stress response. Again, it's like a weight training program for your brain. Like we are trying to control this certain type of stress that we want. So when I say go, we're going to take a deep breath. I'll say exhale, push it all out, exhale. When I say hold, the clock starts. All right, so make sure you get out all the air in your lungs, okay? So if you have to pause me to get ready, do what you got to do. All right, ready. In 3, 2, 1, inhale. Big exhale, 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 exhale. Let it all out. In 3, 2, 1, and hold. Clock is starting. So that's it. Just control. Keep it out. Don't cheat. Keep your nose pinched. And again, when you feel the need that you have to inhale very slightly through your nose. That's it. Doing great. You're at the 40-second mark. Keep it going. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. All right, so if you made it that entire time, that's great. Your Bolt score is near the top, which is awesome. We want to keep it going. But again, if you had to breathe within the 0 to 20 mark, that means, again, we need to make improvements. If you're between 20 and 40, that is okay, but we want to be 40 plus. 40 to 60 is optimal. Above 60 is that, again, high performance level. So, homework that I want you to do over spring break. Feedback. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the program, what you'd like to add in, and things like that. But also, I want you to write out, what does an extraordinary life look like to you? How is life on your terms? But also, and I'll tell you why next time, brush your teeth with your opposite hand for a week. Start a journal. Write down your thoughts, experience, inspirations, things like that. Track your Bolt score. So write down your number, and then I want to see how it improves over time. And then also enjoy your spring break. Have fun, and I will see you all when you come back. Thank you guys. Have a good one.